Chicago Firestarter. Firehouse 51's new recruit will challenge Kid and Novak. Chicago Fire's newest team member may be getting off on the wrong foot with his new colleagues. The NBC drama is saying goodbye to both Jake Lockett's Sam Carver and Daniel Keary's Darren Ritter, who are not returning as series regulars for season 14. Plus, Michael Bradway, who recurred as Severide's firefighting half-brother Jack Damon, also won't be back after booking a role in Prime Video's upcoming series every year after. Needless to say, Firehouse 51 needs to staff up in the wake of all those departures. Enter Brandon Larroquette, on call, the good doctor, who has joined the series as a full-time cast member, and it sounds like his character, Sal, has some secrets. The charming Sal Vasquez is the new addition to 51, and like Severide, this character is rich with family history in the first responder world, much of it buried. But not for long, showrunner Andre Newman tells TV Insider. We know that the 51 family likes to be all up in each other's business, so the recruit's guarded nature will likely cause some conflict and tension. Vasquez will prove a real challenge to Kid, his new lieutenant, as well as to Novak as she tries to get to know this seemingly unknowable guy, Newman previews. Sounds like the paramedic is already moving on from her situationship with Damon. Looking ahead at the show's return, Newman also teases a huge shakeup in the very first episode that portends the big drama to come in season 14. While that is certainly worrisome, at least we can comfort ourselves with the news that Keary will temporarily reprise his role as Ritter. Earlier this week, Keary shared a photo on his Instagram story of himself on set and in costume with co-stars Hanako Greensmith, aka Violet McCamey, and Jocelyn Houdon, aka Lizzie Novak. Back, for a limited time only, Keary wrote over the image. The day started like any other at Firehouse 51, smell of burnt coffee lingering in the break room, crews tinkering with squad's tools, and Herman arguing with Mouch over whether a deep dish pizza could survive being reheated 3 days in a row. But before the usual rhythm could settle, Chief Bowden strode into the apparatus bay with a new presence at his side. The newcomer was tall, lean, and carried himself with a kind of easy confidence that usually came with either years of field experience or a dangerous amount of arrogance. This, Bowden announced, his voice carrying over the hum of conversation, is firefighter Alex Carver. He'll be working alongside Truck 81 as our newest recruit. Give him the welcome he deserves. From the corner of the room, Stella Kid and Delaney Novak exchanged a glance. Kid, the lieutenant of Truck 81, was already assessing Carver the way she did with every rookie, measuring if he could keep pace, handle the pressure, and most importantly, mesh with the team. Novak, still the newer face herself, bristled slightly. Having another fresh recruit meant she wouldn't be the one with the most to prove anymore, but it also meant she'd have competition for every call and every ounce of Bowden's attention. Carver offered a casual nod. Excited to be here. I've heard this house runs the hottest calls in the city. Hot's one word for it, Herman muttered, earning a chuckle from Mouch. Kid stepped forward, her tone warm but with that undercurrent of authority. All right, Carver. Let's see if you can keep up with us when the bells drop. First impressions on the line. The first test came sooner than expected. A call came in, a multi-story apartment fire with residents possibly trapped inside. Truck 81 and Squad 3 roared into action, sirens slicing through the late morning air. When they arrived, flames were already licking at the building's top floors, black smoke curling into the sky. Kid took point, barking orders, and Novak moved with practiced precision. Carver, to his credit, was quick to gear up, but Kid noticed the subtle ways he tried to jump ahead, reaching for tools before they were assigned, positioning himself closer to the entry point without clearance. Carver. Kid's voice cut sharp through the chaos. Stay on my 6. You don't move until I say. He hesitated a second too long, clearly not used to being reined in, but then nodded and fell into place. Inside, the heat was oppressive, visibility near zero. Kid sent Novak left to check the bedrooms while she and Carver swept the kitchen area. It wasn't until they heard Novak shout, "Victim found," that Carver's instincts overrode the chain of command. He darted toward the voice without waiting, nearly colliding with Novak in the flash of annoyance in Novak's eyes as they maneuvered the unconscious tenant out to paramedics. Back at the rig, Kid kept her voice low but firm. You pull that stunt again, and you'll be back riding a desk in 3 weeks. This isn't a solo hero gig. We're a team. Carver met her gaze, unflinching. Understood, Lieutenant. Just hardwired to move. Tensions rising in the house. Over the next few shifts, the friction simmered. Carver wasn't openly insubordinate. He followed orders, did the grunt work, and kept pace on calls. But he had a knack for being in the exact spot where Novak needed to be, or for subtly one-upping her in front of Kid. During a routine drill, Kid noticed how Novak's jaw tightened when Carver outpaced her on a timed hose deployment. Later, in the locker room, she overheard Novak venting to Violet from Ambo 61. It's not that I can't handle competition, Novak said, but he's strategic. Like he's not just learning the ropes, he's trying to climb them faster than anyone else. Violet shrugged. Maybe you should just beat him at his own game. Kid knew she had to tread carefully. 2 ambitious firefighters could be an asset, but not if they were more focused on outshining each other than saving lives. A call that changes the game. The real turning point came during a call to a warehouse fire. Reports indicated multiple workers trapped inside, with the building's structural integrity already compromised. Kid split the team. Novak took one crew to the east side. Carver followed Kid through the west. Inside, debris rained from the ceiling, and the heat was intense enough to make their radios crackle. They found one worker pinned under a collapsed shelf. Kid called for backup, but the floor groaned ominously beneath their boots. Carver moved without hesitation, bracing the shelf while Kid freed the victim. The man was barely conscious when they dragged him toward the exit, but just as they reached the threshold, part of the roof caved in, cutting them off. Novak, we need a new exit point. Kid's voice was urgent. Within seconds, Novak appeared through a side passage she cleared herself, guiding them out into fresh air. The victim was rushed to medics, but Kid's attention was split. She'd seen something important. Carver and Novak had just saved each other's lives. After the smoke clears. Back at the firehouse, the atmosphere was different. Carver found Novak at the gear racks and gave a short nod. You were fast in there. We'd have been stuck without you. Novak raised an eyebrow. And you held that shelf like your life depended on it. Which I guess it did. Kid watched from a distance, allowing herself a small smile. Fire had a way of forging bonds that nothing else could. Later that evening, she called both of them into her office. Look, you're both good. More than good. But this house doesn't run on competition. It runs on trust. If you can't trust each other, I can't trust you on my team. Today was proof you can work together. Keep it up. Carver's usual confidence softened into something more genuine. Understood, Lieutenant. Novak gave a crisp nod. We're good. A new chapter for 51. As the weeks rolled on, the tension didn't disappear completely. It shifted into something sharper, more productive. Kid noticed Carver and Novak pushing each other during drills, but now it came with mutual respect. They traded tips, covered each other on calls, and even teamed up to prank crews by hiding his lucky wrench. Bowden, ever the watchful leader, seemed quietly pleased. "Iron sharpens iron," he remarked one afternoon to Kid. "Looks like Truck 81 just got a little stronger." Kid couldn't help but agree. Carver had come in like a spark, threatening to ignite the wrong kind of fire. But now, alongside Novak, he was fueling the right one. The relentless drive to be better, faster, and smarter. And in Firehouse 51, that kind of fire was exactly what kept them alive. By the time the sun dipped behind the city skyline, laughter echoed through the kitchen, the smell of Gallo's questionable fusion pasta wafting through the air. Novak was explaining the new rescue technique she'd learned, and Carver was listening. Actually listening, without trying to outdo her. Kid leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, taking it all in. For all the chaos, all the danger, and all the unpredictability of their work, one truth always held. Firehouse 51 wasn't just a workplace. It was a family. And like any family, new members didn't just fit in overnight. They had to earn it. One call, one risk, one moment of trust at a time. Carver had started as a challenge. Now he might just be one of their greatest assets. And Kid? She was ready to see exactly what kind of firefighter he would become, with Novak right there beside him, matching him step for step.